strength right now nationally. I'm going to start with a question for all of us. How might we create mathematics learning environments that facilitate the equitable mathematics achievement of all students while simultaneously promoting engagement of and confidence in all mathematics learners? So how can we do that? First, I'm going to go through some recent history. Danny Martin at the 2015 National Research Conference took NCTM to task because we have been ignoring the equity issue and the basis of the equity issue, which is our kids' lives. Then, NCSM and TODOS got together and put out a position paper. This is actually in your folders. Read it, it is a fantastic document. And it has a list of actions that you can employ to increase equity. After that, we had a collective action that was put together by all those organizations over the summer. It is a list of readings every month and quarterly webinars that you can be involved in. In September, Matt Larson, the president of NCTM, finally said it, and he said, "We have ignored the experiences and realities of our children's lives, and NCTM will strive to transform our visions and actions." All this is going on in the last year and a half, 2 years. What a time to be in mathematics education. This is awesome. So one of the things that I end up hearing about is how, well, we're in Vermont. We don't have that problem. These are things that I've heard said to me, said to my students, that my students have reported to me, and that students have said. And I want you to read some of those and think about, do we have this problem in Vermont? Nationally, this conversation revolves around urban education. We are not an urban state. We have to take this problem and make it ours, because we do have a problem with equity in mathematics education here. So one of the things we can do is break it down. One of the things that position paper did was it listed the 4 ways that social justice is involved in mathematics education. And those 4 ways are listed up there. And what I want to talk to you about is there's 2 levels at which we can look at this. We can look at it at the individual level, us as classroom teachers, but we also need to look at it at the state level. The individual level, so I'm going to tell you what I took from it. I'm focusing this year on eliminating deficit language. So I do use deficit language, and I implicitly allow for deficit language to be used about my students by keeping silent. This is an example of 2 different teacher responses to a kid with a pretest score of 4%, IQ's high 70s, math calculation on the Woodcock-Johnson standard score is 68. I can say he's low. I could say he knows patterns. Another example, a kid who qualifies for free lunch, comes in with unkept hair and dandruff, and has no school supplies. I can problem solve the situation. So 2 different ways I can reframe things. That's at the individual level. Now we can look at the state level too, because we need to change things there as well. At the state level, and I want to basically give you a call to action. These are the consequences of not addressing the inequities. Those pictures on the last slide. We need to start having conversations or reflecting within ourselves, if we don't want to talk about it, about all the ways that as individuals and as a system, we contribute to these inequalities. And we need to get to the point where enough is enough. It's not just about talking about the problems. We need to do something. This always makes me think of The Network, that movie where he goes, "I can't stand it anymore." So what's next? How do we do something? We commit to doing something. That was what I was talking about with, I've committed to addressing deficit language in my practice. Commit to one little thing. There's a list of things in that paper. If you're interested in statewide conversation,
provide your information. On the two walls, on each side, there's a list, there's a poster for actions and a poster for statewide conversations. If you're interested in the statewide ones, put your contact information, or just email me. The actions one is to make a commitment. Make a commitment to do one thing, and maybe it's one thing on Monday morning to change this.